Let's get going, because as Burns himself might say, and I can see it in your eyes, suspense is worse than disappointment. With honour in mind, we're here to shine a spotlight and indeed honour Robbie Burns and our ladies, though not together at the same time, obviously. As the saying goes, history was written by the victors. Well, as far as history is concerned, Robbie Burns was most definitely a winner in certain respects. By all accounts, an accomplished wordsmith, a legendary ladies' man, a lover of whiskey. Without needing to delve any further into the great man's backstory, he's already my hero. So he was a hit with the women. But was he? Well, he was a bloke, after all, when all's said and done, so he was bound to have made an error or two, because, well, he was a bloke. It's what we do. It's in our DNA, isn't it? And you know what? When he made them, you can cast iron guarantee that there was a woman there to record those errors for posterity's sake. Every single time. They do help us though, our ladies, don't they? But they're there, aren't they? They're omnipresent, they're everywhere, they're just waiting. It's like they have this inner sense that we're about to screw up and they don't want to miss the show. Do you know, it took me 14 years of marriage to realise there was a wrong way to put a bag of onions in the cupboard. Apparently it's a thing. Who knew? You're looking at a man whose better half has to live with someone who filled the water reservoir in the coffee machine with milk just to cut out a pointless step. Twice. Just to make absolutely certain. I may not have quite have heard the helpful advice that came my way after the first time. At least I think it was advice. It was delivered at speed and in French and in a high-pitched voice. I got similar advice a few years ago when, for the first time in my life, I made some stock with a couple of chicken carcasses, and after the pan had been simmering away on the stove for a few hours, my wife declared it was ready. She then, with what on reflection can only be described as a look bordering on utter dismay, watched me as I triumphantly tipped it all down the sink and asked her what I should do with the bones. I'm led to believe the advice I got that time is unrepeatable. Just being a bloke. And it's really comforting to see a few knowing nods out there, so thank you for the solidarity, brothers. They do look after us though, our ladies, don't they? They help us out when we do what could be best referred to as man-looking. You know, when we can't find that thing we're looking for and they go straight to it. It's in the cupboard behind the object that we just can't move. They hear us chuntering away and banging things around, and with a knowing sigh, they just stop whatever it is they're doing, and they come and put us out of our misery, don't they? They find the thing in less than a second, they pick it up, they show it to us with a look of, it's there, you useless oaf. And they put it back where it was, in the blink of an eye. So we're still none the wiser, and we're back where we started. And it's torture, isn't it, lads? It's like punching a cow. It's cruel, unnecessary punishment of a peaceful, slow-moving beast. But back to our evening's hero. Like Burns, I'd like to think of myself as a bit of a wordsmith, and perhaps a hit with the ladies, and definitely a lover of whiskey. All right, we'll stick with the whiskey. One's fine. And you know, this got me thinking. I wonder what Burns would be like if he was here with us this evening, if he was here around today. I imagine what with a good number of ladies being interested in him and all, that he'd be in need of a few marriage and relationship pointers. So I asked a few friends to help me out with this. Gentlemen, I was inundated with responses from people like you, like me, and perhaps the man Burns himself. My Twitter and Facebook feeds went into meltdown, I can tell you. Here's a few of the replies I got that are safe to repeat. I think. My wife is no longer with me. I feel like I've lost a best friend, which is actually true, as that's who she's seeing now. I can't work out whether he's happy or not. Kiss me somewhere dirty, she said. So we drove to Drummondville. I'm a night person, I'm married to a morning person. Often, when I'm in bed asleep, she wakes me up with a cheery, "Good morning!" Over the years, I've learnt that the correct response is not, I haven't quite been awake long enough to comment on the quality of the morning. Ever drink enough to believe in your wife's logic? Me neither, but I'm trying. Women who say getting married was the best day of their life have obviously never had 2 chocolate bars fall out of a vending machine by mistake. He's probably still not married. I love it when I leave work early and come home and surprise my wife and she greets me with those 3 very special words. Were you fired? My wife sometimes leaves the car keys on the kitchen table with a helpful note saying, keys, just in case I think there might be something else. My wife is a total MILF. Mammal I've learned to fear. Before I got married, I didn't even know there was a wrong way to put milk back in the fridge. Oh yes, I'm not alone, there is a God. Your wife will never start an argument with you if you are cleaning. It's true, that, isn't it? Marriage teaches you a lot about yourself. For instance, I learned that I don't need to use so many paper towels and that they're expensive. Now, not wishing to leave Burns out of this collection of clearly sage advice, if he could tear himself away from nursing her wrath to keep it warm, ever the romantic, he'd have probably offered us, but to see her was to love her, love but her, and love forever. But I don't want to leave you with that one. I'd like to modernise things a little and end with the immortal line from the opening credits of that wonderful medical comedy series, Scrubs. I have a feeling that it's a show that Burns would approve of. What with it being awash with cutting one-liners, it's full of dry wit, and it's coupled with heartfelt sentiments at times. So I'm sure I speak for many of the laddies here when I say, can't do it all on my own, because I'm no Superman. Our lassies, we need them, don't we? And we'd be lost without them. So, gentlemen, please charge your glasses and be upstanding. Thanks for everything you do for us. The Lassies. The Lassies.